possible that there is a feud that is brewing in MAGA right now. Because apparently Steve Bannon just attacked Elon Musk. Now, this is in reference to the so-called refugees. Again, like I said, they're not really refugees, but the white South Africans that just came to the United States. Steve Bannon, apparently, of all people, is calling Elon Musk racist. I kid you not. Make it make sense. As you'll see it here, guys. This is wild. I didn't believe this at first. I didn't believe it. I had to double check again. But this is crazy. Steve Bannon condemns Elon Musk as racist and truly evil. Oh my God. In an escalation of discontent among the highest profile far-right followers of Donald Trump, his former advisor, Steve Bannon, has called Trump's newest favorite, Elon Musk, racist and a truly evil guy, pledging to take this guy down and to kick him out of the MAGA movement. So again, it's funny because Steve Bannon, of all people, is saying that about Elon Musk. Doesn't mean that Steve Bannon is wrong, but still. Let's continue on here. It says, in an interview with Corriere della Sera, newspaper in Italy, excerpts of which were published this weekend by Breitbart, Bannon criticized Musk's embrace of some forms of immigration and vowed to ensure that Musk does not have top-level access to the White House. He is, let me move this down here, sorry. He is truly evil guy. He's an evil guy, very bad guy. I made it my personal thing to take this guy down before, because he put money in. I was prepared to tolerate it. I'm not prepared to tolerate it anymore. Okay, let's pause here for a second. So again, Elon Musk seems to have ruffled a lot of feathers in the Trump administration. Not just Steve Bannon. There have been other complaints earlier on as well. And Steve Bannon, you know, he touts himself as America first, as truly America first. And Elon Musk and his positions are becoming a problem for Steve Bannon. Now, we can go back a couple of months ago when we had the whole conversation about the H-1B visa, and there was kind of a rift there with MAGA at that point where people were saying, what the hell is Elon talking about when he says that we need to bring over the more H-1B visas? Well, no, that's not America first, because America first, you would focus on the people that you have here for those jobs first, right? So there was a rift and a split there, and Steve Bannon wasn't on Elon's side with that. And now you have this situation with the white South Africans that just came here that are claiming to be refugees, which I told you guys, they're not actually refugees. If you look up the statement from the president of South Africa, and I posted that video earlier today, these people are not refugees. They don't meet the status of refugees. There is no genocide that is happening to white people in South Africa. The UN has already made this statement. This was done to appease Elon Musk. And they're getting benefits and they're getting things that they're not even giving to other refugees and immigrants that have come to the US. They're fast tracking the process for them, but not for other people. Now, it goes on to say here, he added, I will have Elon Musk run out of here by Inauguration Day, which falls on 20 January. He will not have full access to the White House. He will be like any other person. Musk became one of Trump's biggest cheerleaders and certainly his richest during the Republicans' ultimately successful campaign to regain the U.S. presidency, spending reportedly about $270 million and being rewarded with a place at Trump's side ever since. After his victory, Trump tapped Musk to help lead an advisory group theoretically dedicated to cutting the U.S. spending. You all know about that. That was Doge. Now, it goes on to say here This thing of the H-1B visas, it's about the entire immigration system is gamed by tech overlords. They use it to their advantage. The people are furious, said Bannon, who Trump fired from his White House position during his first administration, but who later reinvented himself through his War Room podcast as one of the chief evangelists of the MAGA movement. Bannon further widened his aim to attack Musk's fellow tech giants Peter Thiel and David Sachs for having South African heritage. Now, look at this. This is another thing I want to highlight. Musk, should go back to South Africa. Why do we have South Africans, the most racist people on earth, white South Africans? We have them making any comments at all on what goes on inside the United States. Now, why is this important? This is important because of what we just saw happen with the white South Africans that just came here. And, people have been butting heads about that. There does seem to be some type of a split there among MAGA as well. Whereas some who said no to refugees seem to have an okay idea here, or seem to be accepting of the white South Africans coming to the United States. So people are starting to call out the hypocrisy. Now, I wanted you to see that article because when you see what Phil Scott had to say here, let me go ahead and bring him down, about this very issue, because we talked about this. The whole America First thing. What just happened with the white South Africans that just came here, the Afrikaners, that's not American First. That's more about, like, Elon wanted this thing. This is to appease Elon. I explained that to you guys. How is it that a group that is in power in South Africa, how are they being oppressed? And it's like people don't want to put two and two together, right? Listen to what Phil Scott said about this. Let me bring this up. By the way, if you guys are not following African Diaspora Network, you really need to follow them.
But when I got to doggone Cape Town, I say, where in the hell am I at? Where are these people at? I was like, where'd it come from? It was so many of them. I've never seen that before in the African continent, right? And so I just kind of saw, I think the first time that bothered me, I think we was with Tuani, and shout out to her. And she said, that's a black-owned business right there. When she said that, I said, what did you just say to me? She said, well, what you mean? I said, what did you just say about the business? Oh, black-owned? I'm like, I said, why are we saying that here? I said, in America, okay, that makes sense. But here, well, the history of apartheid and all that. And I say, yeah, okay.
So Phil has been to South Africa. And he's been to other countries in Africa. So he was very well aware of the situation. And this is why I was telling people, I can't believe people won't even take the time to, I thought we all knew about apartheid South Africa, but apparently not. Because I'm seeing people online, they're like, oh my God, I'm so glad they're here and they're safe and they were being oppressed and da-da-da. And I'm like, now all of a sudden, no one remembers apartheid South Africa? No one remembers the history? Very weird, huh? Let me let him go on a little bit more.
Oh, so, the place we went to was good and all of that. But I just noticed that when I was in Cape Town, them folks move a lot different than Joburg. They're a little bit more. They ain't the same as like they are in Cape Town. So Cape Town, don't get me wrong, beautiful place. It really is. Nice mountains, nice. The beach is nice. Everything is just. It was nice, and everything. I ended up circling back the following year, taking my family to Joburg, and then Cape Town. My family enjoyed that. We stayed at a different place or whatever. The next time I went to Joburg and Durban. And I'm like, oh, I never want to go back to Cape Town. I never want to go back because I just enjoyed Durban. That's up there with the Zulus. And man, I loved it. Unfortunately, I was sick for one good day because I made a mistake eating at the gas station, right? Oh, boy, I never forget that. And I never make that mistake again. That's why when I travel now, I travel with all my medications. Oh, I travel with all. You can't get me to not carry my medications with me. They got this medicine they sell
We'll skip to the other part because he was talking about some of the things that they sell there, but he's been there, right? So he's been there a couple of times. Listen to this part here again that he was trying to warn people about.
America first. You said you want to get all these immigrants out of here. They spending our tax dollars, all of that, right? You want our money to go into our pockets. We got homeless veterans, we got homeless this, homeless that, but yet you're doing mass deportations here, but now you're bringing in more refugees. And a lot of people who are saying, which in my podcast, you'll see that a lot of the immigrants are upset about that. And I talk about that in a whole different podcast. But the fact is now they have shown up to America. They're here. Of course, they're going to get a rude awakening. Of course, we know that. But so.
And I want to add this part as well, because this is really important. Yeah, the US isn't like South Africa. Because the way, and this is another thing too, if you ever met people from South Africa to explain this to you, the way that Black South Africans are treated by the white South Africans, Black people don't put up with that here. And I believe they said they're going to send them to places like South Carolina. Good luck. Having lived in South Carolina, good luck with the Black community in South Carolina. Try telling Black people that. Try that talk that you do over there. Try that in South Carolina and let me know how it work out for you. South Africa is one of the most unequal places in the world. In the world. And we supposed to feel sorry for? Hell no. Hell no. You got people being blown to pieces in Gaza every day, every other damn day, starving kids and stuff in Gaza every day, every damn day since October 7th of 2023. I feel sorry for them. But you in a position of power. Get out of here. Get out of here. So they're going to be in for the rude awakening. Rude awakening. South Carolina, Alabama, Memphis, good luck. Good luck. I give you a little bit of time before you turn back around and you get back on the plane and go back home, because Black people there don't play. They're not going to put up with that attitude. Not at all. So he's been there, so he knows. He knows how unequal it is. And they really, let us put them on a plane and get them here. These are the people who wanted to keep apartheid in place. That's who they brought here to the US. And to all the other immigrants, I have to say this as well. Think about something for a minute. Some of you, it took you 10 years, some 15 years to get citizenship, but they're going to fast track theirs. How you feel about that? You see how they can look over you just like they looked over us? These are the parts that people really got to hear and they got to understand. I told you they would pit people against each other. They've been doing this for years. The same way they can fast track their citizenship for the white South Africans, the same way they could have done that for all the rest of you. But they didn't want to. Remember that. Remember that.
So there's a woman, I think I've actually played one of her videos before. Her name's Bianca, actually out there in South Africa. Shout out to Bianca, because I actually spoke with her right after I made that video. She's always speaking up against racism out there in South Africa. So there are some white South Africans who do speak up against, their community about racism. And like I always said, when they speak up against racism, they are attacked. They are ostracized, because how dare you speak against our racism? How dare you do that? Once again, that is the culture. It's the culture.
Yep.
And if you go anything outside of the culture, okay, you're going to be attacked if you are a white person. So Bianca had a warning. She wanted Americans to see the video. So that's why I made sure I'm going to show her video among a few others. Let's go ahead and play this video. I want y'all to hear this warning from Bianca here. to Americans, or what we really imported to our country.
This is for the Americans. If you're not an American, feel free to watch, but please try and get it to the Americans. My name is Bianca van Wyk, born in South Africa, live in South Africa. Today, you will be welcoming the so-called white Afrikaans refugees. They are there based on an offer made to them, which I must say was informed by disinformation about South Africa. Now, I've seen a lot of takes on who Americans think they are receiving. Okay, you are not getting successful, professional, white, middle-class South Africans that are fleeing South Africa. The people you are getting are the people that believe that there is discrimination against them based on their race. Keep in mind, we live in the most unequal country in the world. We have, for instance, 70% of agricultural land and agricultural holdings are owned by white South Africans. 62 to 68% of top leadership positions in corporate are filled by white males. There is a huge salary disparity between white South Africans and the rest of the population. And there are a number of other indicators which shows you that this story of discrimination based on race is false. Another thing that I wanted to say is that you will get certain so-called refugees that have experienced crime. However, in South Africa, no one is exempt. These people that you are welcoming assume because they're white, they should not experience crime.
There it is. There it is. I have one more part to play from you from Phil here as well that I think you guys need to hear. I don't think I got to that part just yet. Yeah, where he follows it up. That's the thing. They feel like they shouldn't experience it because they are white. Listen to this.
Better off white South Africans are still there in South Africa doing what they're doing, right? Now, they are a class of white folks in South Africa that live dirt poor. They don't have anything. They have their own shanty areas too. They have this one brother went over there to one of them, I think in Pretoria. He went over there and filmed them. They were hot that he was filming their poverty. That's the people that's coming over here. Because let's think about it. Why would they want to come over here when they literally got it all handed to them right there in South Africa? They're not going to have the same lifestyle that they would have in South Africa. They won't have it at all. They won't have the docile black folk. I'm sorry, a lot of them docile. I'm just keeping it 100. They're not gonna have the docile black folk over here. You got FBAs, and we're not docile, right? They're not gonna have their maids and servants and everything else that they normally have. They're gonna find out real quick they can't afford that here. They're gonna find out. They're gonna find out that the US dollar isn't the same in this country like it is outside this country.
That is 100% correct. You see, so they brought them here, but they ain't want to let them know, because the reality is, the US dollar, it goes further outside the country. Like the US dollar can go really far in Brazil. Like Nico came on, he talked about this before, right? Like, so what they're used to getting for the US dollar, like in South Africa, is a whole different situation when you actually come here. And matter of fact, when we go live on Sunday, I'm gonna cover that story, that recent report that just came out about the majority of Americans can't even afford a minimum way of living. That's the new report that just came out. So they're gonna be in for a surprise, and they'll just have to wait and see. Because like I said, make it make sense. So was Steve Bannon right? Was Steve Bannon right when he warned people that about Elon Musk, calling him a tech overlord, and what he wanted to become? Is really interesting, like I said, that it came from him of all people, calling Elon Musk racist. But was he right about that? There's a rift in MAGA when it comes to Israel. Like we noticed, we've seen the people calling out like Israel, like the Candace Owens side of things, and then the loyal Zionists, like the Ben Shapiro side of things, right? But I'm also seeing a rift in MAGA when it comes to immigration, where some people who said, no, 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 no refugees meant no refugees. And where some who said no refugees meant, oh, no, 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 not those kind of refugees. But those ones are okay. Something to pay attention to, folks. Make it make sense. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.